We are at the Read Dating event in Uxbridge Library, and I'm with Alex, who writes under the name AA Chaudhuri. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Now, what's your book?
So I've written 2 books. The first is The Scribe, which is a serial killer investigation centering on a killer who appears to be targeting former female law students from the Bloomsbury Academy of Law, which is a fictional law academy, but based upon the College of Law in London, which is where I trained.
Ah, so you're a former lawyer.
I'm a former lawyer, yes. I did history as my first degree, and then I did the law conversion course at the College of Law. And I don't want to say too much, but those subjects that I studied there form the basis of the plot in The Scribe. Basically, probably not. I can probably say this. It doesn't give too much away, but the killer appears to be killing according to a pattern prescribed by the legal syllabus. For example, the first victim that's found dead has contract inscribed across her chest. So it's pretty gruesome, but it's the perfect balance of blood and thrill, I think.
And has this come from any previous experience in your law?
It hasn't, no. Unfortunately, I was a commercial litigator, so I wasn't a criminal lawyer, so there was nothing as exciting as that. But as I said, the idea came from my time at the College of Law when I studied those subjects, and I really enjoyed criminal law. To study it, I could never have practiced it. I don't think I had the temperament for that, but I enjoyed it, and obviously you learn a lot of case law and things like that can inspire you to write.
So you're now a full-time author?
I am, yes, yeah.
And you've had success with some previous books as well?
So 10 years ago I started writing after I gave up being a lawyer, and I self-published a couple of women's fiction novels. They were also lawyers, actually, but it was a bit more tongue-in-cheek, a bit more on the romance side.
Yeah.
They were set in Italy, and they did well. The first book actually sold over 10,500 copies on Amazon, which was really good for a first self-published book. I always wanted to write a legal crime thriller. I've always loved thrillers, right from when I was a teenager. John Grisham was my hero, and I loved the page-turning nature of thrillers, the suspense, the intrigue, the red herrings. I find it a real challenge, both for the reader and for the author. So I just, when I had the chance to do that, when I had this idea, I leapt at it. And I've written 5 more since, which I'm hoping to get published at some point.
And do you write with a thought that it might be a film one day in your head?
Definitely.
Or is it just a book?
No, I do. I think a couple of my books could definitely adapt well to a film. There's one in particular which my agent's trying to sell to a publisher, which I think would make a really good film.
And then what's your writing day, your routine like? I'm quite intrigued about people's writing environments and their schedules. Are you strict on getting up at certain times and writing?
I'm quite strict. I'm a bit OCD like that. I know some writers are all over the place, but if I have an idea, I'll get up and I'll take my kids to school, and then I'll just sit down at my desk. I've got a study, south-facing, quiet. I don't do radio, don't do TV, nothing. I like it absolutely quiet, and if I've got an idea in my head, I'll write for about 4 or 5 hours on the trot, and then it's time to pick the boys up, and then the noise happens.
And how do you keep track of all the characters? You have a separate pad of all their bios next to you, so you keep referring to them?
Yeah, I mean, when I start writing a book, I do have a general outline of the main characters and who I want to include and what they're going to do. But for me, the thing about crime, which is so good, is that as you write, new and better ideas come, and you think about that new twist or that new red herring that's just going to throw a big curveball in and make it even better. I've actually just finished writing a short story for an anthology my publisher's producing. And I was supposed to hand it in, and then I suddenly thought of another twist at the end, so I was a day late. But it's things like that in crime that can really sort of up the game, really. So I enjoy that about crime. Yeah.
Well, thanks for chatting. That's
really
watch out for the name AA Chaudhuri, and it's the Scribe.
The Scribe, and the Abduction, which is the follow-up, featuring the same key characters, is also out now as well. So,
and then maybe Netflix or Amazon Prime one day.
That would be amazing.
Pop up there.
You never know.
Thank you very much for chatting to us.
Thank you so much for talking to me.
Cheers,
Thank
Alex.
you.